barbershop conversation. Feel free and hit the subscribe button. Don't forget Nine Wives. Click the link below. Nine Wives, the award-winning film, Nine Wives. I want to say thank you, guys. Truly support you. I support you as well, and I want to say thank you for supporting the project. And um, I remember last week when I heard I spoke about this on the live, or I did it in a separate video. You guys gotta, I don't know when it all blurs in together, but it was last week when I says it don't make sense for Tim Smith to speak out against Terrence Crawford. It didn't add up to me. I think it was a video. Um, and I said they're working together. Bob Arum called in a favor, and Al Haymon granted it to him. You know what Al Haymon told him? I mean, Bob Arum told him, don't touch Crawford. Um, and that's where we're at with this game now. And this tells you that there is no cohesion between what the men in suits want and what the fans want. You choosing your favorite, and you're choosing your favorite man in the suit because he's black is wrong. He doesn't have your best interests at heart. This is for a title eliminator? You know how big of a ramifications this is? And guess who gonna be first on the list for mandatories, quite possibly. Right? Because the IBF just had some stipulation, right? Because their mandatory just lost. So they said the WBC can jump in and enforce a mandatory. And now we at a standstill again. Earl Spence dreams are deferred. Boxing fans' dreams are deferred. And guess what? All the major promoters stay in business. Like I said, I ain't got no allies as it pertains to these men in suits, man. I love myself enough to respect my enemies, and that's where we got to be. And this is why it, it 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 startles me that we're advocating for these belts, and we got to fight for all the marbles. Advocate for the best fights. But we saw the signs, Gary Russell. So they can do all this at the welterweight division, but can't do it at the featherweight division. Leo Santa Cruz said, "Well, I'm gonna fight at 130, and then I'm gonna move down to 126 and defend my belt." That's not privilege. That's business. Do you understand? The whole system is not aligned with the fans want and what the fighters want. I believe, for the most part, the fighters want to make the most money and get the most respect from the fans. But the fighters respect their promoter too much. The fans respect the promoter too much. Fans say, I support the sport of boxing, but don't support common sense. Boxing supersedes common sense. Pro-blackness supersedes common sense. More importantly, nothing should supersede your last name. Protect your last name. And I sit and I watch, and I'm like, how much more information do I got to give? But because you've been conditioned by the Democratic Party and our impoverished mindset that the white man must be the enemy, and the black man must be the ally. We're conditioned to believe that. You know how I know? Because I was. When in fact, the truth should be your ally, and your last name should be your ally. And these are the facts. There is no pro-blackness in boxing. There are subcultures of pro-blackness. You got a group of fighters and stuff like that, and you got a group of fans that are, but the business in totality, no such thing. I am entrenched in boxing. When I say entrenched, there's nobody for real in boxing that I cannot get a hold of if I push towards it. Not a soul. We gotta wake up. Seek the truth, man. Seek the truth. This year of boxing should be called the year of Mecca. Remind me to say that. The year of Mecca. The reason why, because when Malcolm went to Mecca for the second time under his own recognizance on his own, uh, he realized that the truth is colorblind. We can't be black to a fault. And I think this love for Al Heyman and this hatred for, you could say Bob Arum, you could say Eddie Hearn, because of this, and who other else, Lou DiBella, and name your promoter, whatever side of the fence you on. Um, you have to understand that as long as they have you in that pendulum swinging, they got you. It's real simple. You know what this title Eliminator means? It means Terrence Crawford. People in boxing ain't gonna move with him, and he gonna have to defend his belt. Terrence Crawford might get stripped by the end of the year. November, he got a year to defend his belt. Terrence Crawford has to fight by November 19th. Who's gonna pay for the fight? It's a game, y'all. Drink some water. And I'm always 30 steps ahead. I don't know why I'm holding this camera up like I'm recording myself and I got the camera. That's funny how you're programmed. I'm holding it up to my face and I realize it's just on the audio. But makes no sense. This is how me and Lincoln are communicating. You know, I love you. Coincidentally, he's in his room right now. Our rooms are next to each other. Love you, King. Love you, Kennedy. It's bedtime for them right now. Love you. Thank you. You love me 100 million? Oh, man. I haven't opened up my door since Friday, y'all. I love you. I don't know how y'all can commit a crime knowing you're going to have to spend 20 years in jail. I've been in this room Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 5 days. 5 days. I just want some fresh air. I just want to take a walk. Let's take a long walk, you know? But as I digress back into what I was saying, I told us to pull our money out. We should have did it when the Golden Boy thing came out. We had all the evidence we needed. Hard evidence. No one could have been sued. All we had to do was use the quote. Headlines. All your videos. Golden Boy employee calls Al Haymon Black Hitler. And you couldn't have been slandered. You could have posted that every day. We could have pulled our money out. And you know what that would have did in 2022? We can't do that. These fans are woke. We didn't do it. I wonder how many views that video got. See, if I was downstairs in my office, I could literally um, uh, show you guys. I don't think that video has 10,000 views. And I'm the only one with the footage. Because I'm the only one that asked Oscar De La Hoya the question. See, when I do these videos, and that's another thing, when you get COVID, I just realized it just now. You got to recondition your lungs because you got to do these breathing exercises. I just realized it right now. Um, but when the fans wake up, that's when boxing will move accordingly. When you listen to me, that's when boxing will wake up. It ain't no 50-50 love. That was a dope meme I made. And everyone that doesn't like Terrence Crawford, and you're saying, I'm glad Errol Spence is moving like this, and it's not good for the long term for Errol Spence. It's not good term for the long term of the fans, and it's not good for the long term of Terrence Crawford. As we can see, Terrence Crawford is out all alone, and he gonna be like me. He gonna be like, I thought everybody was black. I thought these fighters and promoters loved me. I did. I was like, I know these fighters gonna have my back. They didn't. Gary Russell did. I will say that. Gary Russell stood up, and stepped in front. I appreciate that, Gary. And Gary Russell has a fight this weekend. Uh, uh, this Saturday. I'll be watching. That'll be the last leg. We got the NFL, and then we go directly to Gary Russell. So, if you don't think this is a business, Al Haymon can't get in New York right now. He's at the Prudential Center. The Prudential Center is equivalent to the sports arena in Los Angeles where the Clippers played. The Prudential Center is equivalent to the high school team playing in your middle school gymnasium. So Al Haymon is going to be obedient. He doesn't have access to, at some points in boxing, is the biggest market in boxing. You get the overseas and you get America in New York for big fights. Imagine Imagine Daniel Jacobs and Peter Quillen having to fight at the Prudential Center. You get what I'm saying? New Yorkers don't go to New Jersey to have a good time. New Jersey goes to New York to have a good time. All right, and this is a man that was born in New York. Now, I will say I love Cali. I'll never live in New York ever again. But at some point, I will buy something in New York. You know, I would love to have a piece of property in New York for the Hawthorne's legacy. Um, but I really, I know I'm being very deliberate because of my my breathing. So, you know what I mean? Um, what we gonna do? Am I still a hater? Or is pro-black more important than the truth? In 2022, is Bob Arum worse than Al Heyman? The knee-jerk reaction is to say yes. Well, how many times are PBC fighters fighting? And not one PBC fighter in 2022 is being overpaid. They being underpaid. A fighter told me in LA, his team told me that they were going to give him half the money on the pay-per-view and they were going to pay him later. I'm like, well, you got to do it. You're going to do it anyway. I didn't say you got to do it now. I told him to pull out the fight. See, these are stuff that you guys are not privy to, but they watch the videos and they're inspired to contact me, you know, and get my opinion. They race hustled us in politics, man. They race hustled us with our geographical locations. Don't you know minorities? They put us on the perimeter of America for a reason. Don't you understand that? They didn't want us going inland. We're a barrier to protect the people they care about most. I mean, first it was the real immigrants, you know, and then they said, "Oh, we could take advantage of these black people. Let's keep them on the perimeter. We don't want them in the heartland, you know, where everything is created, you know, where the heart of America beats." Where inventories where we can control everything. Now let's keep them. Let's keep them working for us. Let's keep them on the ports. It's a great job. Some may say modern day slavery. It's a great job though. And let's allow them to form unions. And ain't no unions in Middle America. Give them a sense of power and ownership. But you know, I know what I know. So I will continue being an Al Heyman hater until y'all wake up. So I take all hate in the payment of cash apps. Feel free to cash app me. Feel free to donate. It looks like I'll be out Thursday. It looks like it. Today's Tuesday, so I got one more day tomorrow, and then I'll be good. Um, and yeah, man. So that's where I'm at with this. Terrence Crawford, you're a long way away. And we'll save this for another video, but it is what it is. So either I'm 100% right, or I'm still an Al Haymon hater, because Al Haymon is paying for this WBC Eliminator. I'm going to repeat. Al Haymon is paying for this WBC Eliminator. Is that in the best interest of my favorite welterweight, Earl Spence? Or is that protecting his brand, PBC, by giving him an option and then tell Earl, well, you know, I'm real interested. When it gets to June and July, I want to see what Terrence Crawford's going to do, because he got to defend that belt or he's going to be stripped. Remember this video. No one has talked about Terrence Crawford being stripped November 19th. Who's his mandatory at I bet his mandatory be with Top Rank. Who's his mandatory? Go to Google if you get a chance and see who Terrence Crawford's mandatory is. It's a dirty game, y'all. It's a dirty game. It's gonna go to purse bid, $10. Oh man, it's a dirty game. What's the minimum? 500,000? 501,000. Al Haymon not gonna touch it, and Eddie Hearn learned his lesson. He ain't touching. He ain't doing that no more. Triller? Nah. Eddie Hearn. See how they all bleed in together to me. Bob Arum is gonna sit there in his office in Top Rank and do what he wants. And you know what? As he should. It's his business. It was our choice as fans to pay and watch, and the fighter's choice to sign. We can't be mad at him for doing a business model that worked since 1966, and we mad at him. We agreed to it. Fighters keep signing, we keep watching, we keep buying, the fighters keep lying. I was trying to make all that rhyme. But no one's talked about that belt. Remember this video. I'm always ahead of the game. Barbershop Conversations. Feel free I want to bang against the wall with my son. And Barbershop Conversations. I love you guys. Hopefully we'll be back Thursday night. I can't wait to see y'all, because I want to promote that Gary Russell fight live with some fan interaction. You know what I mean? For Gary Russell, because I know he'll be watching. One of his brothers will be watching. Batman. You know, somebody will be watching. Just give him that extra ounce of encouragement. And but Gary Russell fights this Saturday. I'm going to do my best to promote that fight in every video I have. And I appreciate y'all. Barbershop Conversations. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. I'll holla. Peace.